Hi guys, it's Miss Fullington again, and so I just wanted to do the reading lesson with you. So I won't be able to be there for the morning time for my first group. So we're going to go ahead and do the reading lesson recorded. So even though Miss Fullington's not here, I really want you to try and make sure that you're paying attention. The substitute is right there, Mrs. Alschool, and she will definitely report to me whether you are behaving or not. So I need you to have a focused mind and kind of have your game face on. So Clinton and Clayton, you know how to do that. So let's go ahead and let's focus, okay? All right, so we're going to do our vowels. All right, it's A, E, I, O, U. All right, now we're going to do our high frequency words, so make sure you're paying attention. Below, both, follow, most, move, own, road, show, window, yellow. All right, now we're doing our spelling words. Remember, guys, we are not having a spelling test. We are having a story quiz, and that is on Friday. So I'll be back on Friday to be able to give you a review, and then we will do our quiz. Okay. Spelling words. Own, most, soap, float, both, no, loan, goat, flow, loaf. All right, good job, guys. So we are going to go ahead and move on. And so we are going to be working on multisyllabic words with long O spelling pattern. So it says here, listen as I say two syllables, and you'll blend the syllables together to say a word. Then say the syllable that has the long O sound. O. So I'll do the first one. Okay, so let's listen. I know that the multisyllabic word focus, if I put those two syllables together, the word is focus. So the syllable with the long sound is faux. Now you try it. All right, so here's the first one. Let's see if you can get it. Total. Which part of the syllable has the long O sound? Okay, here's the next one. Over. Which part of this word has the long O sound? All right, here's the next one. Suppose. So which syllable, is it the first syllable or the second syllable that has the long O sound? All right, here's the next one. Minnow. Which syllable has the long O sound? Is it the first syllable or the second syllable? Here's the last one. Roasted. Which syllable um, which syllable has the long O sound? The first syllable roast or the second syllable id? Okay. All right. So we did pretty good on this multisyllabic words. And if you haven't gotten it, we will practice again tomorrow on Friday. Okay. Let's keep moving on. All right. So we have new power words. So what does that normally mean? We have a new story, right? So we are going to go ahead and go through these power words, and then we are going to listen to the story Going Places. So that is what our story quiz is on, is going places. All right, so here is the first word. Everybody repeat after me. Assured. Great job. So it says, if you assured someone, you promised something would happen. It says he assured us that he knew how to solve the problem. It says our principal assured us when we can go outside for recess. Normally that would probably happen during our weather days, right? When it's like rainy or snowy or is it too cold, our principal will assure us if we can go outside or not, okay? Everybody's repeat after me. Exactly. When things are exactly alike, they are the same in every way. So it says the twins dressed exactly alike. That reminds me of when Clinton and Clayton dress alike and Miss Bullington and Miss Little cannot tell you apart. All right, everybody repeat after me. Precise. Precise is an adjective. So it says something that is precise is the exact and correct anything. So like right, for instance, for this little girl, she has to get the exact and precise measurement for baking a cake because that's very important when you're baking. So it says here she needed to measure the precise amount of milk for the recipe. Especially when you use a certain tool in math, it is a ruler. So the ruler gives me a precise measurement. All right, everybody repeat after me. Peered. Peered is a verb. If you peered, you look closely. It says Lainey peered into the lens of a microscope. So she's looking closely at whatever's in that microscope. So she's peering into the microscope. So it says, I peered out the window to check the weather. So Miss Wellington does this a lot just to make sure if we can go outside or not, if in case it's like rainy or it's gray outside. All right, everybody repeat after me. Respond. Respond is a verb. When you respond, you answer in some way. Many students respond when the teacher asks a question. It says, I might not respond if I don't hear the question. All right, everybody say intent. Intent is an adjective. It's a describing word. Someone whose intent is set on doing something. So the cat was intent on watching the bird. Uh-oh, that may not be a good thing, huh? So you got to be careful with your cats sometimes and your dogs. Your dogs can be intent too. All right. Everybody say, ooh, I like this word, contraption. Contraption is a word or a noun. And a contraption is an object that looks strange and hard to use. So it says the inventor invented a new flying contraption. All right. The last word is replica. So you may have an idea of what replica means based on the picture. Replica is a noun. A replica is an exact copy of something. Each cookie was an exact replica of each other. So it means like another word for copy. This tower is a replica of that tower. So this tower is a copy or replica of that tower. All right. So we are finished with our power words. We did a really good job. Now we're going to our anchor chart. So this is our skill. This is the poster of our skill. And so we've already learned about this at the very first day of school. And this is ask and answer questions. So when do we ask these questions? It's before reading, during reading, and after reading is when we ask questions and answer them. Why is it so important? Sometimes it's important to get information when we're reading an informational book. Remember, Miss Wellington's always falling back to those animal books. It may have really good facts or something for you to understand. So the next one says to help you understand the text. So it's going to help you understand what that animal is. So if I look through my book, I'm going to like, oh my goodness, this is about tigers. So it says here, the next one is to practice being awake and thinking while reading, because sometimes reading material can be not so fun. Informational texts are for people who are really interested in learning about facts about something. It's not for everybody, but it's also to help you practice being awake and always thinking about what you're thinking about when you're reading. Okay. The last one says to be curious and wonder as you read. So if I'm reading a book about tigers, I wonder if tigers can live in certain areas. So, like, can a tiger survive on an island? That's what I wonder. I've got to think about that, right? And I've got to do my research. So, I've got to read about tigers and where they're from and how do they survive. How? How do we ask these questions? Sometimes it's confusing. So it says use question words to ask. So these are some good ones. Who, what, when, who, what, where, why, when, and how. So these are some starters. So I wonder who. So let's see what it says. What do tigers eat? How do they get their food? So where do tigers live? So these are different questions that Miss Fullington used with our 5 wonder words, right? So it says, look around the text and pictures for evidence or details to help you answer. So this is where when you come up with your questions, you're going to research and find them. You're going to read that book about tigers and you're going to figure out if they can survive on the island. All right. So we are preparing to read Going Places. So the genre study is the type of story we're reading, and it's a fantasy. Fantasies are stories with made-up events that could not really happen. So as you read Going Places, look for events that could not happen in real life. How pictures and words help you understand, and what happens. All right, where were we? Also, it says a lesson with main characters learn. So we want to make sure that we look at the lesson that the character learns in the story because that follows the next one, problems and conflicts and solutions or resolutions. So conflicts and resolutions, remember, conflicts are problems that the characters face. That's usually at the very beginning of the story. So you want to look for that one. And resolutions, remember, resolutions are at the end. How did the character solve the problem, right? We also want to set a purpose, just like on our poster. Ask questions before, during, and after you read to help you get information or understand the text. Look for evidence in the text and pictures to answer your questions, okay? So here are our power words. We just went over them. So we're going to go ahead and read our story, okay? But first, we want to definitely listen to the authors. And we're going to meet Paul A. Reynolds and Peter H. Reynolds. So it says, listen to the audio to find out about the authors of Going Places. So let's listen.
Peter and Paul Reynolds are twin brothers. They love to write and draw, and they work together on Going Places. They both worked on the story, and Peter also created the pictures. Peter likes to sit in cafes and draw because he likes to meet people and talk about his work. He hopes to inspire others to write and draw as well.
All right, so let's go ahead and listen to Going Places.
Going Places by Peter and Paul Reynolds. Illustrated by Peter Reynolds. Raphael had been waiting all year long for the Going Places contest, a chance to build a go-kart, race it, and win. When the teacher announced who would like the first kit, Raphael's hand shot up. The rest of the class watched enviously as Raphael walked back to his seat with the kit. Mrs. Chanda assured them, "Don't worry, you'll all be getting one. And they're all exactly alike." The kit came with a set of precise instructions. That made Raphael happy. He was very good at following directions. Raphael hammered, glued, nailed, and assembled his kit. His go-kart looked just like the one in the directions. He was feeling quite proud. Raphael wondered how his classmate Maya was doing. She lived right next door. He peered over the fence. "Hey, Maya, you haven't even started." Maya didn't respond. She was so intent on watching the bird in front of her and quickly sketching it that she didn't even notice Raphael. Then she just put down her pencil and stared at the bird dreamily. Raphael shrugged and let her be. The next morning, Raphael checked back in to see how Maya was doing. "Wow, what is that?" he asked. Maya grinned. "You like it?" Raphael responded slowly. "Yeah, extremely cool. But, Maya, there's just one little problem. That's not a go-kart." Maya smiled. "Who said it had to be a go-kart?" Raphael was confused. The set of instructions inside the box were for a go-kart. But then again, they didn't say it had to be a go-kart. He looked again at Maya's contraption. After a moment, he grinned. "I get it. Hey, Maya, I really want to win this race. The instructions never said we couldn't team up either." And so they did, working late into the evening. The next day, everyone gathered for the big race. Each go-kart was a perfect replica of the other. Except one. One of the kids laughed. "Looks like you had trouble with the going places instructions. You're going places all right. You're going to lose." Maya and Raphael didn't even have time to respond because the announcer's big boomy voice called out, "Attention racers, start your engines. 4, 3, 2, 1. A buzzer sounded, and they're off. While all the other go-karts disappeared in a cloud of dust, Maya just sat there in their motionless vehicle. Raphael shouted over the roar of engines and cheering crowds, "Maya, what are we waiting for?" "No worries, Raphael," Maya answered. "Flaps down, throttle up." And now they took off into the air. The other contestants looked up in amazement. Maya and Raphael hovered and then sped past them all. Before long, Maya and Raphael coasted across the finish line to the cheers of the waiting crowd. They kept rolling clear across the race grounds. Maya slammed the brakes, stopping just short of the lake at the edge of the school field. Raphael noticed a startled frog leap from a lily pad and dive into the water. He raised his eyebrow and looked at Maya. She smiled. "Raphael, are you thinking what I'm thinking?" Raphael just nodded.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and show you in Seesaw what you're going to do. After you read Going Places with your class, you're going to seesaw And you're going to do the activity that says Thursday, 12:10, power words. It says complete the power words match for a grade. So I'm going to add a response. And it's over the same exact words that we used in our lesson for today. So it says, write the power word from Going Places that best fits each item. So you can see that, that there's a word bank, and it says assured, contraption, exactly, intent, peered, precise, replica, respond. So number 1 says, which word could you use to describe an exact measurement? So remember that little girl that was measuring the milk. It was precise. Okay. So I'm putting it on the line, making sure that I've spelt it correctly. So I have. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink the word and put it on the line. Then I'm going to take my pen and cross out precise because we are not using that again. So you're going to do numbers 2 through 8 on your own. And when you're done, you're going to press that green check mark. Okay. Guys, make sure that you are completing your work. There should not be any kind of scribbles. I've noticed that some of you have done that. Make sure, guys, that you check every answer before you press that green check mark, because I noticed that a lot of the same students are not checking their work and they're turning it in unfinished. Guys, this is for a grade. So if I see one that's not marked correctly or not answered correctly, I am going to count it wrong. So I need your best efforts in everything that you do. Okay, guys? I will see you on Friday. Have a good afternoon, okay? Bye.